Welcome to Mathswell YouTube channel. This is Sanjay sir from the Mathswell YouTube channel. So what are the rational numbers? In the last video we have seen the definition of fraction. So what are that fraction? That fraction we define in that video that it is a number in the form of p by q where p and q both are natural numbers. Right? That is called only fraction. Okay. So now here we are going to discuss about the rational numbers. Clear? So what are the rational number? Just define it. Again, the rational number is again a number in the form of p by q where p and q are integers. See the difference between the fraction and rational numbers. In case of fractional number, the p and q were only natural numbers. Here p and q are integers, and with q is a non-zero integer. It must be non-zero integer because if q becomes 0, that fraction will become we can say not defined. That fraction will not be defined, right? So for that purpose only this q must be non-zero integer. So students, the numbers in the form of p by q where p and q are integers and q is a non-zero integer are known as the rational numbers. That is a simple definition of rational number. Clear? Now we'll move ahead. We have some special characteristics of the rational numbers. What they are? Let us see one by one. The first one is every rational number is expressible either as terminating decimal or as repeating decimal. So every rational number can be expressed either in terminating decimal form or in repeating decimal form. Either of these two must be there. So every rational number should be written either in terminating or in repeating decimal forms. The second point is every terminating decimal is a rational number. Clear? Every terminating decimal number is a rational number. So whenever we have a decimal numbers decimal numbers are given, if they are terminating, then we can say they are rational numbers. Okay. And the third point is every repeating decimal is also a rational number. So whenever a decimal number is given and if some digit or a group of digit is recurring or repeating, then we can say it is a repeating decimal, and such numbers are called, or they are always rational numbers. So these points are very important, students. They may ask to fill in the blanks or true or false type of questions. They may ask for one questions in the exam. Okay, so let's move ahead. Now in this topic we have, in this next part of this topic we have such type of examples to represent the natural numbers or to representation of rational number on number line, you say. Okay, so to represent a given number in given rational number on the number line, just you can see the example here. The question given is express the rational number 4 by 7 on the number line. Okay, so to represent any rational number on number line, we can first check whether the given number lies between which two integers. Okay, so here if you see 4 by 7, whenever fraction is a proper fraction, means when we have numerator less than denominator, then we can say definitely it will lie between 0 and 1. Okay, since here 4 is less than 1, we can say that 4 by 7 is lying between 0 and 1. So now consider a number line, as here it is shown by a pink line. This is a number line. Okay, a horizontal line is called a number line here, or we can say it is a real number line also. Okay, so here a point O, a 0 is denoted here. So this point is called an origin. Okay, or an initial point, or in mathematics we call this point as a origin. It is denoted by O and its coordinate is 0. So this indicates a number 0 on the number line. Okay, so here since number is lying between 0 and 1, we divide this distance, this 1 unit distance, that is 0 and 1 has a 1 unit distance, and it is divided in 7 equal parts, 7 equal part of this 1 unit. means we take such 7 point in between 0 and 1, and we can write those numbers as first 0 can be written as 0 by 7, it is always 0. 0 divided by any number is always 0, so 0 is nothing but 0 by 7. Then each line, each point we have denoted, 7 points we have denoted, so each point can be indicated as the first will be indicated by 1 by 7, then second will be 2 by 7, the third 3 by 7, fourth one is 4 by 7, 5 by 7, 6 by 7, and lastly it is 7 by 7. 7 by 7 is nothing but 1. Okay, and we are finding, or we are representing this number on number line. So the number is 4 by 7, so obviously the fourth point between 0 and 1 will show a number 4 by 7, right? So since this is a number line, we can say that this 4 point represents a rational number 4 by 7. Suppose the number is instead of 4 by 7, if it is suppose it is 5 by 8, suppose. So if it is 5 by 8, what we need to do? 5 by 8 again lies between 0 and 1 obviously. So in that case what we should do? Here we should divide this 0 and there is 1 unit length in 8 equal parts. Means we need to take 8 such point between 0 and 1. And 5 by 8 will be the fifth point we have taken between 0 and 1. So since it is 4 by 7, the fourth point is the required rational number on the number line. If it is 5 by 8, so that fifth out of that 8 points will be the required rational number, and that will be the rational number on the number line. I hope everyone got it clear. So let's move ahead, see some more example to represent the rational numbers on the number line. Suppose the number is given 0.8. So that 0.8 can be written in this form 8 by 10, because it has only one digit after decimal. So you can take denominator, remove the decimal, and get a number in multiples of 10 in the power of 10. So since one digit is there, so we divide by 10. So 8 by 10. So here since 8 by 10, again numerator is less than denominator, so obviously it will lie between 0 and 1. So what we need to do here? So we need to divide this 1 unit length 0 to 1 in 10 equal parts. So the whatever the denominator is there, that much part we need to divide. That unit length should be divided in that much equal part. So since here it is 10, we need to divide the unit length 0 to 1 in 10 equal parts. So it can be written as 1 by 10. So each of these 10 points will represent a number. And what are those numbers? Those numbers will be, the first will be 1 by 10, second 2 by 10, third 3 by 10, fourth 4 by 10, 5 by 10, 6 by 10, 7 by 10, 8 by 10, 9 by 10, and this one will be 10 by 10. And this first will be 0 by 10. 0 can be written as 0 by 10. So this unit length is divided in 10 equal parts. So first point will represent the first part, second point will be second part, and so on. And we need to find the 8th part, means the number 8th point will represent the required or the given number on the number line. Okay, so this will also be one of the example. So students, after having the representation of the number, rational number on the number line, we have one more important part of this topic known as operations on rational numbers. So what do we have the operations on rational numbers? Let's see here. Let's consider a by b and c by d. These are the two rational numbers. So for these two rational numbers, we have the following properties, following operations we can say, or we can say the algebra of rational number also, that is addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. The first one is addition of two rational numbers, how it will be performed. So whenever there is addition of two rational numbers, we can take the addition of such rational numbers by just taking the cross multiplications. Okay, so just take a cross multiplication and multiply the denominators in denominator, and taking the addition of this cross multiplication, that will be the numerator. So that gives us the addition of two rational numbers. It's very simple. Clear? In the same way, the difference, while taking the difference, again we need to take the denominator multiplication, it will become BD, and just take the difference of the cross multiplications. Again it is A into D minus B into C, right? Similarly, while taking the multiplication, now it is the other some changes here. As in addition and subtraction, we just take cross multiplication, but it is not the case in multiplication. What is there in multiplication? If the numbers are A by B and C by D, while taking the multiplication of such rational numbers, we just take the multiplication of numerator with numerator and denominator with denominator. Clear? So A into C upon B into D will gives us the product of the two rational numbers. That's all. And then after we have finally the division of two rational numbers. How it can be taken? A by B is divided by C by D. So whenever there is a division of two rational numbers, we can write it in multiplication by taking the second rational number, that is the rational number in denominator can be multiplied with its reciprocal, right? So A by B is multiplied by the reciprocal of the C by D, right? So that C by D, reciprocal of C by D is D by C. Clear? So we have, again we just take the multiplication of these two rational numbers. So C by D reciprocal will also be a rational number only, D by C. So take the product of numerators and denominators will gives us the rational number again, and that in this way we need to have the division of two rational numbers. So that is the operations on the rational numbers, or you can say algebras of rational numbers, that is addition, subtraction, multiplication and division of two rational numbers. Let's move ahead. After that we have some properties of addition on the rational numbers. They are commutative law, associative law, existence of additive identity, existence of additive inverse. So all these are the properties of addition, properties of the addition of rational numbers. Commutative means what? I will just explain in short. Commutative law or commutative property will be the property in which if we take the addition of two rational numbers in a order, that if you change the order of that numbers, the addition will remain same for addition. Okay, means if A by B, C by D are the two rational numbers, then the sum of A by B and C by D will remain same as sum of C by D with A by B. That is A by B plus C by D is same as C by D plus A by B. In case of associative law, if we have three rational numbers and they are written in addition, so then we can group any two rational numbers, making the group of any two rational numbers among those given three rational number, the addition remains same. Like in case of natural number also the same rule can be applied. Like 1 plus 2 taken together plus 3 is same as 1 plus 2 plus 3 taken together. The addition will remain same. The same case is here. Similarly, the next property is called existence of additive identity. So what is additive identity here? So additive identity will be such a number such that will take the addition, or when we add that number, the sum will remain the same given rational number. That is, if we add a number to A by B, the sum will remain A by B only. So what is that such number? Such number in addition is 0. When we add 0 to any rational number, the addition remains the same rational number. Clear? So A by B plus 0 will remain 0 plus B A by B. The sum will remain as A by B only. Either we can write A by B plus 0 or 0 plus A by B. The sum will be same as A by B only. So here we can say 0 is the additive identity of the rational numbers. Okay, so that is the existence of additive identity. The next one is the existence of additive inverse. So what is that additive inverse here? So here we can say the inverse will be, additive inverse will be that number or that rational number, by adding that rational number to the given rational number, the sum should be equal to 0. Then we can say that that is a inverse to the additive inverse to the given rational number. Like if I have A by B as a rational number, So by adding which rational number you are having the sum of a by b with that rational number to 0? Obviously the opposite to the given rational number, means negative of the given rational number. Clear? So if a by b is the given rational number, then there exists minus a by b. The sum of these two will be equal to obviously 0. Clear? So such two numbers whose addition is equal to 0, they are known as the additive inverse. They are inverses of each other. We can say they are additive inverse of each other. Either we can say a by b is additive inverse of minus a by b, or minus a by b is the additive inverse of a by b. So the sum of both taken in any order, either a plus b, a plus minus a by b, or minus a by b plus a by b, the sum will remain 0 only. So in this way you can say it is the additive inverse, existence of additive inverse. So after getting this addition, we have the properties for multiplication of rational numbers. Okay, so what they are, just see here. Again we have the commutative law for multiplication of rational numbers. So as we have seen this property in addition, what it was, if we just change the order, the sum will remain same. Here also the same case. In case of commutative law, when we multiply two rational numbers in any order, like a by b is multiplied to c by d, or c by d is multiplied to a by b, the product remains same. Clear? So in that case we can say it is a commutative law, right? Secondly, associative law, same as in case of addition we have seen, the sum of three rational number taken any two together will remain same. The same case is here for multiplication. The multiplication of three rational numbers taken any two rational numbers together will remain same, right? That is a by b multiplied to c by d taken together, and it is multiplied to e by f will remain same as a by b into c by d and e by f taken together in multiplication. The product remains same. Okay, so that is the associative law. The third one and very important here is again the existence of multiplicative identity. So what is the multiplicative identity? As we have seen the same in case of addition, the additive identity. In that case it was the number, such a number which is added to any rational number will give us the same rational number. Addition remains the same rational number. Here also the same. We are going to multiply such a rational number such that the product remains the same. That is the given rational number only. Such as if a by b is a given rational number and it is multiplied by 1 or any rational number, if the product remains same rational number, so that will be possible only when if you multiply it by 1 only. Okay, so here we can say 1 as a multiplicative identity. Clear? So 1 is a multiplicative identity here. So when we multiply any rational number by 1, the product remains the same rational number. And then we have the existence of multiplicative inverse. The same case we have seen in addition also. So in case of addition, the additive inverse was that number such that the sum, if we add that number to the given rational number, the sum should be equal to 0. Here what we have, when we multiply that number, if the multiplication comes 1, then we call that number as a multiplicative inverse, right? So how it is possible in case of multiplication? We have, so when we multiply a number by its reciprocal, it will give us the multiplication as 1. Clear? So we can say that the rational numbers and their reciprocals, if we multiply them together, the product will be 1. So we can say that the two rational numbers which are reciprocals of each other will be the multiplicative inverses of each other. Clear? So a by b multiplied by b by a will give us the product 1. So hence we can say b by a is a multiplicative inverse of a by b. Clear? Okay. After that we have one property that is known as the denseness property of rational number. What it is? Just we see here. Between two rational numbers x and y, there is always a rational number 1 by 2 times x plus y. That is the mean, we can say. If we just take the sum of two numbers and divide it by 2, we can say it is a mean. right? Or arithmetic mean we can say. So half of x plus y will lie again in between the given two rational numbers. So there is always a rational number lying in between two rational numbers. Okay, so we can say by the repeated application of this theorem or this property, we say that there are infinitely many such rational numbers between the two rational numbers. Clear? So this is known as a denseness property of a rational number. So students, we will conclude here. The remaining part we will continue in the next class. Okay, so keep this denseness property in mind. We'll continue the example of this denseness property and the previous properties we have seen in the next video. Okay, so in this video we have seen the definition of rational number, then how to represent the rational number on the number line, and then we have seen the operations on the rational numbers. So in this video, this representation of rational number is very important concept we have seen. So you can try more examples for practice from the exercises. Okay, so students, today we'll stop with this denseness property of rational numbers in box, and don't forget to share this video, to subscribe this video. We will see in the next class, next video. Thank you.